Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be writing a short song completely from scratch, and I'm going to be using Cubase elements for this. So this is a completely fresh project file. Let's start by adding some drums in. So if I click this right panel lane and then add instrument, and I'm going to be using Cubase's groove agent for this. And then if I load up the drum sound, which is this R&B pop kit 1, and all I'm going to be doing today is using drum loop patterns. So if I click pattern, you can see now we've got these breaks and grooves added on this list here. So if I click C0, it'll play that break, and you hold down the note and it'll play it for 8 bars. Or 8 beats, sorry. And same with C sharp 0 will be groove 5. D0 groove 6. And so on. There's loads of these different grooves. You can actually select different kits and everything. It's quite in depth really. All I'm going to be using today is this break and the groove 6, I think. So if I close this screen, and I think we're going to be starting this on bar 3. So if I press record, put the click on really quick. So all I'm doing here is holding down the note. And then playing D0 for that groove 6. This is going to be sort of 12 bar blues inspired piece, so I'm going to be looping this for 12 bars. Okay, so when it gets to here, we'll go back to this break thing here. And then we'll go back into it. So it should be here, where we need to stop it. All I'm doing here is hold down the note. Right, and then we'll go back to this break, maybe go through it twice for the ending. Right, that'll do. Let's open up the track, and what I'm going to do is quantize this so everything's perfectly in time. So if I highlight everything and then make sure the grid's set to 1/8, it can be set to anything really here, but 1/8 should give us enough quantization. It should put it straight to the first beat of every bar, and I'm going to sort out the endings of these as well. I've never actually used drum loops before, so this is the first time I use them. I think we'll end on that little note there, little hi-hat thing. Okay, so I'm going to colour this track so I know that it's percussion. I always set percussion to yellow. And I'm now going to add a little bass line in. So add instrument track. And I'm going to be using this massive synth for this. And the bass that I always use is this sort of, it's just like a sine wave. This LB sub bass, my own little sound that I created. It's like really deep. I'm just setting the keyboard up to MIDI 0 again. Right. Let me just check that this is enough bars here at the beginning. So, right, it should stop there really. So we'll have to edit this. So that's where it should go to the break section. I wish this thing in Cubase would drag a lot quicker. It's always really slow. That's one of my points for that needs to be changed about Cubase. And I've just unhighlighted it. It should drag a lot quicker than that. I'm sure Cubase 7 or 8 did it a lot quicker. Right, there we go, that should be okay now. So let me just play around with the bass line. Okay, let's get that. We don't actually need any more than that. We can just loop what we've just played. So if I just play that, get rid of them last two notes, and I'm going to quantize all of this. I'll just zoom in a little bit more so I can see what I'm doing. I think this is going to need to be quantized to 16s. Yeah, because that note doesn't actually hit that. Okay. So highlight everything, 16s, and that should put it straight on that note. Apply quantize. Let's just check that. Okay, some of these are going to be off. My what's it called? The ACO drivers, it's slightly got a bit of latency on it, so it's quite annoying when I play things in. Okay, this is off this. I'm just putting this all to the right timing. Once we've got this section done, we can just loop it. I think that's an extra note that's not needed. Right. And we might as well polish this bass line up as much as possible while we're here. We want it to sound as good as possible, so let's make the lengths all equal. You can't actually see this because it's on my second monitor, but what I'm doing is I'm highlighting everything here, and then I'm going to MIDI at the top, and then functions, and then fixed lengths. And that makes them all the same length. It actually quantizes the length to whatever you've set this grid to, or this grid up here. So let's listen to that. I quite like that length at the start, but these might need to be changed. See, it sounds good on them first notes, but then these need to be a bit longer. Right, I think it's just that. Yeah, it's that. Okay, so let's... all I need to do here is hold Shift, and then I can just highlight all of these notes that need to be changed. That scrolling thing is really annoying when it's really slow like that. They need to change that in an update. I don't know why they've set it to so slow. Right, and then I'll just drag that, and it'll do all of them. Okay, and what I'm going to do as well is I'll just set all of the velocities on this to the same. So again, I'll just highlight everything by pressing Ctrl and A. I'll go to the top of the screen, which is on my second monitor, and I'll go MIDI, functions, and then fixed velocity. Okay, close that. I'm just going to drag that to the front of that. And what I'm going to do is cut here. In fact, I should add a marker track so you can see where all the different sections are. So what I'll do is I'll right click here and I'll just add marker track. So that's where it's going to start, so I'll add a marker. And then here's where it's going to come in with the actual beat. Add marker there. Then that's back to the break. And that's back into the track. And that's the break for the end. And then we'll just end the track about there. Right, so I'm going to cut here. And then I can copy this and paste it there. So let's loop that again. And then we can just copy all of this. Put it there. And then we copy this and paste it twice for the ending. Let's just have a listen to this, see how it comes in. That sounds fine. Right, I'll name this bass so I know that that's the bass track. So now I'll just need to play around with some extra synths and things. I might try an organ on this. So if I click here, I'll try and find an organ sound. I might try adding an instrument track for the organ. If I click browse here, it can open up lots of different sounds. So go to organ. Let's try rich sounds. Wait for it to load. I don't really like that. Let's have a look for another one. Let's try this combo jazz organ. Let's go with that. Maybe not that one. Let's try clean combo organ. Don't really like that either. It's a bit too harsh, that one. Rock organ. That sounds a bit too distorted. Okay, let's roll with that. I'll press record. We can always change the sound at a later time. Played a wrong note there. I was playing around with inversions. So instead of playing the D minor chord, which is DFA, I was playing D minor in first inversion. So putting the A of the D minor chord in the bass. So instead of, I was playing, it sort of threw me off of it. I'll try that again. Right, and now we can just loop that. So I'll open it up. Again, I'm going to quantize it. This needs to be quantized to 8, so I can get away with 8s on this. So let's highlight everything, click quantize, and I'm going to put it as fixed lengths again. So I'm going to go to the top of the screen and MIDI functions, fixed lengths. I think I'll leave the velocity on that. The velocities look okay. I've got 2 extra notes here that shouldn't be here, so I'll get rid of them. That looks okay. I'll make a cut there so I can paste it. This last note needs to be held. In fact, I might just copy that and put it there and hold this one. Okay, and I'm going to loop that, and I'm going to loop all of this, And then we're going to loop that opening section twice at the end. Right, so let's just have a quick listen to what we've got so far. I'm going to take the click off, and I'm going to mess around with a bit of mixing. I'm just going to close this lane here. So let's open up the mixer. We're clipping at the moment, so I've not actually mixed anything. And what I'm going to do is just solo this drum track. I'm going to set this to -6, so I'm going to try and get the volume to around 6, which is around here. And then I'm going to put the bass in. I'm just trying to get the level right with the drums here. Now put the organ in. Oh, did I hear a note that was out then? On the bass. I did, it's here. Which means that that's going to be out on all of the ones that we've copied. Ah, that's quite annoying. So I'll just have to find this note. I think it's just that one that's out. Yep. Right, so it'll be in this one. So whereabouts is it here? It's there. Okay, so it's when it goes to that D minor chord. The chords for this, if you're wondering, are just A minor, D minor, and then E minor. And then it goes back to another E minor at the very end. That's the E minor chord there. And I've got a sort of running note here, so it goes E minor, then the G, which is the third of E minor, and then there's the little chromatic run into that A. So it goes. Right, so I just need to find that note on every single one. I've done them too. It'll be in here as well. So it's there. Move that across. And it will be in this one. There we go. Right, let's get back to mixing. A little technique that I've learnt is if I go into the overall stereo out track, and if I just add in this little stereo enhancer plugin, you can see that this has got a little mono button. So if I play the track, we can actually flick the track into mono. So that's completely mono. Because things like the drums and the organ, these are stereo tracks, so a lot of the reverb and things, the tails of the hits, they have stereo reverb. So even though there's no panning here, there's still a bit of stereo width on them. And something I've learnt is to mix in mono and set the levels in mono, and then just flick it over to stereo to see if it's still okay. But you can hear the the levels a lot better when you flick it into mono. So we're in mono now. You can hear the drums sound a lot quieter in mono than in stereo. So we'll just play around with that. I want to get the levels sounding perfect in mono. That sounds okay. Let's hear that in stereo. I'm actually going to widen this a bit, so I'm going to put it to 150. Let's hear it in mono again, just to test. The reason why I'm putting it in mono is what I've heard is a lot of times when people listen to music, it's never in mono. It's never in stereo. Sorry. If you're in a car listening to music, you're normally sat more to one speaker than the other, so you're not really getting a full stereo sound anyway. If you're in a club, you're closer to one speaker, and often you're so far away from the speakers that the sound just merges into a mono sound anyway. So it's best to mix in mono, and then just double check it in the stereo. I sort of want a little funky sound going on over the top, so I'm going to add another instrument, just to like a plucky instrument sound, if that makes sense. So I'm going to add instrument. I might try one of these massive synths. Let's try and find a little plucky sound. If I can type it in here, plucky. Nope. Right, it'll be pluck strings maybe. Let's try these. That EXO plug sounds a lot more plucky than... It sounds similar to that one, but it's got a pluckier sound. Let's try that. Right, that'll do. Let's try adding that in. It's just going to come in on these verse sections rather than this intro. So I'm going to put the click back in. Going to quantize all of this. This is playing 8, so I just need to quantize it to 8. I'm going to set the levels as well. So highlight again, go to the top of the screen, go to MIDI, functions, fix length and fix velocity. See, it doesn't sound as good without velocity, so I'm going to set the velocity up here to, I don't know, maybe 30. It seems to sound a lot better with it as a quieter velocity. So I'm going to highlight again and then go to MIDI at the top of the screen and then fix velocity again. And that'll set everything to this velocity here. That sounds a lot better. I might even try adding some effects onto this as well, make it a bit more funky. Did I hear that right again? Yeah, it's fine. Right, so let's loop this verse. And let's try adding some effects onto this plucky sound. I don't think it needs as much reverb. That one doesn't really do much, so I might try adding a delay onto this. Delay synced. Let's just solo that instrument. It's that's just set it so that it's playing 8th notes, but then the delay is playing 16s, so it sort of sounds like it's a 16 rhythm, but the second note is slightly quieter than the first one. Got a lot more rhythm to it now. Alright, I'll open up the mixer. Just name these organ and pluck. Flick it over to mono. Right, what I'm going to do is go into the inserts on the stereo out. I'm going to add this little span plugin, Focus and Go Span, and this shows us the overall frequencies of the track. So you can see we've got loads of bass, and we've got nothing in the middle, and we've got a bit of high end where the drums are. So how can we bring this up, this middle section? It looks like the organ is in this section. So this is the frequencies of the organ. We could boost around here, so it would boost this section of the track. So let's try that. Let's open up an EQ on the organ. Right, so we want to boost this frequency here from 1K to about 4K. We could even cut out some of this bass end now. I wonder if we could put an EQ on the drums to sort of boost them frequencies as well. I like this sound around here. You can see that if that's boosted it already, but we don't want it that much. I'm just raising it to see what it sounds like. Could probably roll off some of that high end. I'm going to flick it into mono again just to have a listen to it. That's pretty much it for this little track. I'm not going to master it in this video. Maybe I can do that for a different video. It's sort of got a rhythmic feel to it. I quite like that. It's like a funky little backing track. So yeah, I'll leave that there for this video. If you want to see me master it or anything, then let me know in the comments below, and maybe that's another video. Yeah, thanks for watching. If this has helped in any way, please click like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.